No, it's all good. I wasn't going to say anything at all, Pete. I was just going to let you, start talking. But anyway, boys and girls, this episode is a long time coming, but it's actually happening. It's here today. Pete's here today. Greetings, salutations, respect, and love, boys and girls. Oh, this is an episode I've been wanting to do for a long, long, long time, and we're doing it today. It's the top 10 Uriah Heep episodes with the one, the only Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility joining the Prog Corner for the very first time. Pete, thank you for being here, man.
Thanks for having me. What's up, everybody? Hope all are doing well.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Big day, big day. Very happy to have you on. I know you've had me on your channel 12 times. Not that I'm counting or anything.
He's counting.
I don't keep track of these things or anything like that. Wayne, all the way from Alberta. How you doing today, sir?
Oh, not too bad. Just trying to beat the heat here. Still about
now. Please, you get ready, because I'm going to be asking you why you call yourself a pocket full of Heap, and that obviously might have something to do with why you're on this show today. But before we get into that, I want to give a great shout out to the great Cody and Tara joining forces. Oh, in the lower square. What's going on, guys?
Well, I'm just getting over pneumonia, so I'm really, really happy to be here. It's been a weird week, but I seem to be on the up climb now. How you doing?
I've just been playing nurse all week, so
yeah, not fun. I bet Cody's one of those people that's just no fun at all when he's sick.
Oh no, he was milking it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I know how it goes. He probably had a bell next to his bed. Yeah, just ring the bell whenever you need me. And he's ringing it 10 times every hour. Yeah, that's right. Yes, it was my birthday. I'll put that back up. Yes, everybody. I turned 62 yesterday. Oh, born in 62, and I'm 62 now. And Jeff Shilka, the great Jeff Shilka, he actually sent me a birthday present. So before I forget, Jeff, thank you so much for all that you do for the Prog Corner. He sends me stuff all the time. Look at all this stuff, man. Just stickers.
Ooh.
He sends me money. He sends me stickers. He sends me love. He sends me encouragement. Really cool Who gets birthday cards with Roger Dean artwork? I do. From Jeff Shilka, man. There's more here. There's pictures. There's all kinds of stuff. That's kind of cool.
Oh,
yeah. So thank you, Jeff Shilka. I really appreciate it. But I would have forgotten it had I not said that right then and there. But yeah, I want to real quick just talk about this band, this Uriah Heep band, how you got into them, why we care about them. Yes, I am wearing a Partridge Family shirt. Absolutely. I seen Portnoy was wearing one, so I had to have one of my own. Pete Pardo is on record as saying Uriah Heep is in his top 3 bands of all time. I'm real curious where you first encountered Uriah Heep and why you hold them in such high esteem, Pete.
Well, top 5. They're probably number 4 behind Sabbath, Purple, and Whitesnake. But yeah, they were my top 5. I
forgot about Sabbath. I forgot how much you love Sabbath.
Oh yeah, I'm an enormous Sabbath fan. I'm trying to remember when I first got into Heep, probably like 79 or 80. And I remember buying, again, it's always about the friggin' live albums, right? I bought that live album from 1973. That's the first thing I bought. And I loved it. And then, of course, I went and got Demons and Wizards and Look at Yourself and the other ones. And then, by the time that was going on, Heap is practically not even in existence anymore. There it is.
Why did we love this album cover? Look how boring and sparse this thing is.
Terrible.
Yeah, my brain wanted to hear this album badly.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. And then, of course, just a couple of years later, I saw that Abominog album cover in the racks, and I was like, "Oh, is that the same band?" And I just had to buy it, sight unseen, because that album cover just spoke to me as like a.
So did you answer your own question at that point in time? Is that the same band?
It wasn't in name only, but it was really cool as well. I love the Abominog album. So yeah, a little bit different, a little more early 80s, but still really, really good. And I've been a fan ever since. And I mean, I saw him right around that time opening for Blue Oyster Cult, and I've seen him numerous times in more recent years. Never got to see the original lineup, or the classic lineup, I should say. But yeah, I love him. Everybody who knows me knows that I love heavy music with big guitars and big Hammond organs and great vocals, and that's Uriah Heep, Deep Purple. That's my sweet spot. I love this sort of thing. And this band has had a million lineup changes over the years, but ultimately, Mick Box has always been the heart and soul of this band. And I will tell you, because I've met him numerous times, Mick Box is a hell of a nice guy. He's like a real, real sweetheart. And he's got a nickname for me and everything, which I think is cool. He calls me the Truth.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, okay. He's like, whenever he sees me, we go backstage at a Heap show. I walk in, he puts his arms out. He goes, "The Truth is here." And I'm like, okay, cool. What's up, Mick? And he's only like 5'2" or something like that. Yeah,
he's a little guy.
He's a little guy. Yeah. But he's awesome. They're a great, great band, and I just love them. And there's just so many great albums across 50 plus years. It's just great stuff.
I'll tell you what. Hey, Kyle's in the house.
There he is.
Yeah. And you know who else is in the house, Pete? Mythologic. Scott Davis in the house. We love Mythologic. Yep. I'm such a homer, man. I try to build up credibility with my audience so that when I say, hey, this band's really great, buy their album, but I got a soft spot when it comes to my friends, and Scott is my friend. But Mythologic still rocks. They've got a brand new album coming out, and next week, the Sunday Prog stream is going to be dedicated to Mythologic, their brand new album, their third LP. We're going to try to figure out a way to play it here and do a live simulcast on Prog Radio. So we're trying to work out the technical wrinkles with that. I leave all that stuff to people smarter than me. That's not my thing. But yeah, so hey, there's Prog Radio. He's in the house right now, Kevin. Yeah, we'll be leaning on you hardcore for all the technical stuff, because clearly you're the brains of this operation. I'm just here for the good looks, man. That's why they got me on the payroll. But yeah, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Pete, I don't know. I always forget to say that stuff. I need to figure out, like you do, where you've got like that whole thing at the end, all the damn time stuff. I need one of those, because I never remember to tell people to like.
I have years of practice and thousands of episodes, Scott. So This is on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click on the notification bell. Blah, 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 blah. I know it in my sleep. And what's funny, when Jamie Laszlo does the Review Crew episode, he has it, I guess, on a poster board or something like that, and you can tell he's reading it. And after, like, I don't know, almost a year's worth of episodes, he still doesn't have it down pat. He's trying.
That's awesome. But you know what else is awesome, Pete Pardo?
What's that?
This new configuration of Asia. I mean, Virgil Donati on drums. Okay, can that guy play? Yeah, that guy's pretty good. What about John Mitchell? Do we like that guy? Is he decent? Yeah. How about Jeff Downs playing Jeff Downs music? I know we all like to diss him, and yes, I get it. But when Jeff Downs is focused on what he's doing, he's awesome. The cat they got singing is a dude named Harry Whitley, and we've got him booked for September 22nd on the Prog Corner, man. The Sunday Prog stream with Harry Whitley from Asia. Don't miss that. Mark your calendars. This Sunday show is turning into must-see TV, Pete Pardo, with big names like, yourself and whatnot coming on here. Just amazing. I'm still kind of fanboying here a little bit today. It's all good. I'll get it together. Wayne, your name of your channel, I'm going to put it up right there. Wayne, a pocket full of Heap. That's got to mean something. How did you encounter Uriah Heep, and why did you name your channel after them? You must like them a little bit.
Love this band a lot. In my top 3 bands of all time. Absolutely love them. I came into them from my dad. Once I was asked him, what's your favorite band? What's your favorite song? He said, Lady in Black, Uriah Heep. And from there, I just started discovering this band, and their catalog is immense. Sure, they have, like a lot of these bands, a lot of ups and downs, but I think that's a lot of the charm of this band, is that even through like some of their darkest times, that they were able to persevere, and even to this day, still putting out some stellar records.
Oh yeah. Their last couple records have been real good, man. Living the Dream, and the new one was Colors and Chaos, or Chaos and Colors. Those are good records, man. Oh, Chaos and Colors. Yeah, I dig that record quite a bit. So
Me too. A lot. That's a very, very good one.
Yeah. And that's something we might want to talk a little bit about at some point is bands who are this late in their career putting out really, really good records. I mean, and Uriah Heep comes to mind like almost immediately as far as like the Jethro Tulls and the Scorpions and Cheap Tricks and Alice Coopers that have putting out late career records that actually don't suck. Uriah Heep's going one further. They're putting out like records that are actually amazing. So
yeah, I see a lot of similarities between them and another band that got mentioned here, Saxon. Their careers almost mirror each other.
Saxon's last handful of records have been dynamite. Yeah. Really, really good.
And Deep Purple just put out a new one that's not too terrible, omitting the obvious a little bit there. Cody, Tara, tell me your history with Uriah Heep, your emotional connection to Uriah Heep or lack thereof, because this is a band that means a lot to me. So I'm interested in your stories.
Well, I was a bit of a late comer to Uriah Heep. It was 4 or 5 years ago I got into him. I saw the cover for The Magician's Birthday, and I was just like, okay, this is odd. So I put it on, listened to it, and I was hooked straight away. Dove into the Byron era, and I just couldn't believe I'd never listened to them before. So I went to see them on their 50th anniversary tour, and it was probably one of the best concerts I've ever seen. Those guys, they're old now, and they absolutely killed it. Yeah, that's my favorite Roger Dean artwork by far. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And yeah, at the end of the concert, I ran up to the stage. Bernie Shaw was standing there with his arms out, and he held my hands, and I was like, oh. And then I ran over to Mick Box, and I went, Mick, and he ran over to me and grabbed my hands. And I went,
no.
Thank you so much, Mick, you're a legend. And he kissed my hands and went like this.
And you haven't washed your hands since?
No, I'm going to clone him someday when the technology is coming around. But I just, when a band is so kind of considerate of their fans like that and producing great music at the same time, I was just obsessed. And yeah, since then I've been listening to them like crazy. I absolutely adore the Hammond organ sound, as you all know, especially when it's used in a heavy setting. And yeah, that's my little bit of history with Uriah Heep.
Cool.
Hey, Cody, you want to answer this one? Jordy's got the question. Which is their proggiest album?
What is their proggiest album? I'd have to say, look, this is going to sound very normy, but I'm going to have to say either Demons and Wizards or The Magician's Birthday, because they both have epic tracks on them. And they both have lots of cool tracks that have different moments and kind of go through the peaks and valleys and things like that. My Uriah Heep journey is not that different than yours. I never saw them live or anything like that. But about 5-6 years ago, I own my own, Scott, I own Second Chance Records out here in my hometown. And, so I came across Uriah Heep. Everyone says, well, if you like sort of heavy proggy stuff, especially if you like Deep Purple and Sabbath and early, all the prog stuff at that time, like Genesis and that sort of thing, the Who, whatever else, Uriah Heep kind of has it there. And I'm like, all right. So I brought home the best of Uriah Heep and the Demons and Wizards. I'm like, oh, this is really good. And I had heard them before on Ozzy's Boneyard too, because those guys play Easy Living all the time.
Oh, okay.
That's the only song they play, but they play that all the time.
Their only top 40 hit in the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and what did it hit me? It hit like 39 or something.
But so I got into Demons and Wizards. And I went, oh, this is really cool. Easy Living's a great song. And I heard that new one that had come out, that Chaos and Colors. I'm like, okay, this is fantastic. This is very, very good. And just over the years, I've kind of been slowly digging more into the catalog and finding out that I really like them. And I've become quite a big fan of the band. And so, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, man. I fell in love with them. My sister had Demons and Wizards for some reason. She loved Circle of Hands. I don't think she played much else off of that album, but she just played that track over and over and over. So finally one day there were 3 boys and 1 girl in my family. So the Carrie's bedroom was off limits, man. That was like foreign territory. So one day I had to do, a little sneak recon. I had to see what in the world. I was going to steal that album and break it in half so that she could never play it again. And then I grab it off her turntable and I take one look at that Roger Dean cover and I was intrigued, man. I'm like, maybe there's something else on this album I like. So I stole it. I listened to it and I became a huge fan. I bought, of course, Magician's Birthday Next. And, as a little kid, the Roger Dean thing, I was a huge Yes fan. So it just made sense. And to this day, those are my 2 favorite Uriah Heep albums. And I think it has a lot to do with that personal connection to the album cover. I think it took me a long time to appreciate albums like Salisbury and Look at Yourself that I think are every bit as good now in retrospect. But I was just a slave to that Yes-like thing and the, fantasy kind of, lyrical stuff that was going on. I love the band. I even, I love the records that came out right after David Byron left. I think Firefly is a cool record. Yeah. I just think they have a really interesting and unique discography. So we are going to do the top 10 songs. I'm personally doing 1 per album. You can do whatever you guys want to do, but I figured that way, what were there 9 albums with Byron? So I'm forcing myself to have at least 1, right? But I'm gonna have 2 actually. I got 2 non-Byron tracks on my list, but let's start with our esteemed guest and let's see what Pete Pardo's got on his list. Just lay it all out for me. What's your top 10 Uriah Heep songs, Pete?
All right, so I could have very easily just in a top 10 from like 5 albums, right? That's me. But that's like a cop out because I love so much of this catalog. And like you, Scott, I want to give some love to the other eras of the band. So while I have my signature favorites from the early days, I wanted to pepper it in with some stuff that I really love from other eras of the band. So I'm going to start off first. Let's go to the newest one. I'm going to go with Save Me Tonight.
Oh, yeah.
My number 10. Which is dynamite because I remember they released that as a single before this album came out. And I was like, holy crap. Yeah, these guys going to do it again. And the whole album is really great, but that's just such a great song. It's like 3.5 minutes long, but there's so much going on there. It's got all the rich vocal harmonies and the great guitar work. It's even got this kind of cool, heavy proggy middle section, which I think is dynamite. Awesome song. So
I've got a track from that album on my list, Pete, but it's a different song.
Because you can pick any, right?
Yeah. How good that record really was.
Yeah. My number 9, I'm going to go to the Living the Dream album. Another great opening track, Raised by Heaven. Killer. Absolutely killer. Yeah. I mean, both of these all of the albums they've done since Wake the Sleeper have been dynamite, but the last 2 have been so good. But yeah, Raised by Heaven, it's heavy, it's melodic, it's anthemic, everything you love about Heap. And we got to give Bernie Shaw some props.
Yeah,
he is a really, really great singer, and he's been singing for the band now for 35 years.
Yeah.
He's become the voice of Uriah Heep. I mean, I love the Byron era. I love John Lawton. I love Peter Golby, but Bernie Shaw has been singing in this band longer than any of them probably put together. And he's really, really great and a super nice guy.
That is a good point. He's been singing with them longer than all the rest of them put together.
Yeah, he's a great frontman. He's so good on stage. He really is. Gets the crowd into it. And a really, really nice guy. He's also really short too. I'm amazed how everybody in this band is so short. It's like you go meet him back, and I'm not a tall guy, but I go meet the guys in Heat backstage, and I'm looking down at all of them, like, wow, I don't feel so bad.
Hey, we love our short little rock stars, man. From
that,
Ronnie James to John Anderson to Prince, these little elfin-like people doing this amazingly powerful, ginormous sounding music, but coming out of these little dudes, it's fun.
It's great, right? That's great. My number 7, here's an odd one. So I'm going to go with a session track that was left off the Sweet Freedom album, but is on all the remasters and reissues, and that's Sunshine. Very obscure track from them. It's heavy. The Hammond organ is crushing. Mick is crushing, and Byron is so good. It's one of those rare songs that I bet the casual fan has never heard. Go check out Sunshine from the Sweet Freedom.
Why did they leave that off of Sweet Freedom? It needed that. It really needed that song.
I absolutely agree with it. It needed that little bit of extra heaviness, which I think because I like this album a lot, but I think it's lacking it. But yeah, it perfectly fits on this album.
Yeah,
if you go listen to it now. But yeah, Sunshine is my number right. What 10? That was number 8, right? Number 7. I'm going to go with another underrated track from an album that admittedly is not very good, but the opening track is, and it's One Way or Another from the High and Mighty album. And it's noteworthy because you got, of course, the great John Wetton is on this album, and he's singing co-lead vocals with Ken Hensley.
Yeah.
So basically, David Byron doesn't even sing on it, but it's just a great melodic song. It's got great heavy guitars, and I love the back and forth of the vocal interplay between these two guys. It's interesting because, like, for years and years and years, I mean, I've been listening to this band for over 40 years. I had no idea that Ken Hensley sang like a good amount on a lot of these early Heap classics, because him and Byron sound almost identical to each other. So unless, you go always looking, it's like, oh, he sang those 2 songs on this album. He sang that song. It's like, because they sound so similar. But yeah, great track off of an album that's not very good. This would be David Byron's swan song with the band.
I hate it when that happens. I just reviewed the new Kaipa album, and apparently half of what I thought was Patrick Lundstrom singing is actually Hans Luden singing. And I'm like, there's no way they sound that much alike. And so Hans actually went line by line, which lines he sung and which line Patrick sung. I'm like, that's embarrassing.
It happens, right?
Yeah,
you don't often see that, but yeah. All right, next up, I'm going to go to the Magician's Birthday album for Sunrise. I mean, that vocal is so good. I love the atmosphere of the song. I love the Hammond, right? I mean, Ken Hensley is one of the great Hammond players of all time. Never gets enough credit there. Great songwriter, too. But Sunrise is just so good. Love the heavier section. It's just an amazing song. One of their classics.
And they certainly did understand the importance of a leadoff track, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
They got that.
100%. 100%. I want to make sure I got the order correct here because let me just see here. So that was Sunrise. Okay, next up, I'm going to go with July Morning.
Cool.
My favorite Uriah Heep album. I think I love Demons and Wizards, but to me, I have always favored Look at Yourself just a little bit more. There's just a couple tracks on here that are absolute favorites, as you'll hear momentarily. But July Morning is their big, that's like their kind of Child in Time, right? That's their kind of big epic song. It just builds and builds and builds. It's so good live. Man, when I saw them with Heap with Saxon earlier this year, July Morning was one of the highlights of the show. And Bernie just nailed it. But on the album, of course, David is just spectacular on here. It's a great lengthy track. It doesn't get boring at all.
That's awesome. It's awesome. And Kyle, I too was the same way with the Cars, man. It wasn't until I saw the Cars that I even realized that Ben ever sang at all. And I'm like, hey, wait a second, why is that dude singing? I'm like, oh, there's 2 lead singers. I'm an idiot.
And next up, we're going to stay on the same album. I'm going to go with Shadows of Grief. Arguably their heaviest song. It's doomy. It's evil sounding. Dun, 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 dun. It's just so good. And the vocals are really chilling. I mean, Byron does a fantastic job on it. The drums are kick-ass. One of my favorite tracks from them. And again, not a song that probably the casual fan knows. Like, just a really good deep cut. So that's my number, whatever the hell that was. What was that? You keep me honest here, Scott. That was number 4.
Yeah, good. Because I thought that was 5. Okay, 4.
Yeah, number 4. We're going to stay here one more time. I'm going to go with the title track, Look at Yourself. Great song. Great song. Just a hard charging rocker. The interplay between Mick and Ken on the organ and the guitar, so good. And that vocal is just absolutely tremendous. Nice cool little passages in there too. Kind of proggy, pretty heavy. Great song. My number 2 can only be the Barnstorming track that kicks off their debut album. It's Gypsy from Very Heavy, Very Humble. Is that like one of the heaviest Brontosaurus riffs ever? I mean, just Heap don't get enough credit for being one of the early great heavy bands. I mean, I said it a million times, but back in the day, it was all about Zeppelin, Purple, Sabbath, and these guys.
And Heap was in that big four, yeah.
Yeah, you could, Budgie's right on the periphery, and then you got Priest a couple years later. But man, Heap were one of the early originators of this heavy sound, and just Gypsy is just so amazing.
Yeah.
Does a Hammond ever sound any heavier than that?
That's just a nasty sound.
Oh,
I love it.
Totally is. Great. Love it.
Yeah.
And then my favorite song of all time is not Easy Living. It is Rainbow Demon from
yes,
which Martin Popoff and I just did a show the other day on songs from bands that you wouldn't expect to do like a Doom song, and Rainbow Demon is totally a Doom song from a Doom band. But yeah, that riff is just
it's sludgy, it's sludgy. Nasty,
and Byron is so good on that. He just sounds great.
And at the time, a band like that would be tempted to throw in like an up-tempo kind of middle eight or something, and they just stay committed to the sludge. It's so good, man. Yeah. I love it. Speaking of Martin Popoff, hey, whenever I get ready for an episode, a lot of times I'll Google stuff and research stuff, and then next time I go, my feed is cluttered with that particular subject. Well, wouldn't you know it, this morning I open up my computer and I've got Martin Popoff's top 20 Uriah Heep songs. I've got his top 10 right here. I'm going to rattle it off right here. I'm going to explode the myth that is Martin Popoff, because his list is terrible. I'm telling you right here, right now, that it's an abomination of abominog songs, actually. At number 10, he's got Think It Over from his favorite Uriah Heep album, Abominog. It's not a bad album.
I got no issue with anything on Abominog. I love it. I almost had one in my top 10.
It's a good album, but it's not their best album. Come on, Martin, you know better. You're just trying to be a contrarian. At number 9, he's got Grazed by Heaven. I got no qualms with that, man. Living the Dream, what a great album that was. Number 8, Easy Living. Yeah. Can't argue with that. Number 7, Too Scared to Run from the aforementioned Abominog. At number 6, he's got the title track from The Magician's Birthday. At number 5, Suicidal Man off of Wonderworld. Oh, yeah. That's the song right there. When people say, oh, that album's terrible, listen to that song. And now you'll think about it a little differently. Number 4, he's got Birds of Prey. Yeah.
That's a good song.
I love that heavy Heap sound. At 3, Tears in My Eyes. What a great song off of Look at Yourself. Number 2, Gypsy. And at number 1, he's got Shadows of Grief. And in the article, he talks about how, he and King Diamond bonded over listening to Shadows of Grief. And that kind of brought a tear to my eye, because I think that's a really cute story. That's Martin Popoff's top 10, everybody. Woo! Next up, we've got Wayne from Pocket Full of Heap. And he's, he's the guy with the name, so he better have a good Uriah Heep top 10. In fact, Kevin from Prog Radio said that the whole Uriah Heep playlist over on Prog Radio is courtesy of Wayne, as if he's some kind of Uriah Heep expert. So, man, you better be bringing the heat here today, man. You better, because otherwise we're going to be really disappointed and sad. And tears will be streaming down our eyes, shadows of grief, all that stuff.
Oh, I know, man. Yeah, this is a very interesting list. Went through it, just thought of the top 10 songs that instantly came in my mind when I thought of Uriah Heep. And luckily, there's a little bit from eras. The only era that really doesn't get mentioned is the Pete Golby 80s, 90s era of the band. Just never clicked with me, that era. But on to number 10.
That's right. The pressure's on, Wayne.
Yeah. Angels Walk With You from Wake the Sleeper.
Good song.
Nice.
Just a great song. I remember hearing it and hearing Phil's just ham and just drenched all over that. Coming from playing guitar, I was expecting to hear a lot more guitar, but just that Hammond sound was like, that's a killer track. And made me actually go look up Wake the Sleeper, and I'd say their stretch from Wake the Sleeper until now is pretty much is like the first stretch from about 70 to, I want to say, about 77 is the best stretch of their career.
Been a good stretch, yeah.
On to number 9 from the album Return to Fantasy, Beautiful Dream.
Ooh.
Absolutely love that. Love that drenching keyboard sound on it, and
that's fantastic on that one too. Yeah.
And David Byron like hitting some of those high notes. It's great. Number 8 from Firefly, The Hanging Tree.
Great.
Another
song.
great.
I love that track.
Yeah, I considered that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, me too. It almost made my list.
I got to say, John Lawton might actually be the best pure singer this band has ever
I
had.
agree. I love Lucifer's Friend too. So
Yeah,
that didn't hurt.
I was absolutely shocked when I looked at because I remember listening to High and Mighty and then going to the next one being like, there's some different, some sounds wrong here. And then once I seen it was John Lawton, I'm like, when the hell did that happen?
Yeah. Yeah. Poor David Byron. Yeah.
Yeah.
The sad tale of a rock and roll lifestyle.
Yeah. Number 7 from the album Wonderworld, The Easy Road. Love that David Byron soul type singing songs that he does. And it's with Suicidal Man probably the 2 better songs off that album, I would have to say. Like, it's kind of a shame that that's the album that Gary Thane went out on.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, he wouldn't have been a part of the 27 Club if he would have stuck around for another year or so.
No.
Immortality is his now.
On to song number 6, Time to Live from Salisbury. I just love that opening riff. And there's just something about David Byron singing mid-tempo or even soul that I just absolutely love his voice that way.
Well, that's an interesting point because his voice is probably best known for one thing, and that is that vibrato.
Yeah.
I mean, right? It's so unique. It's so specifically him, that operatic almost vibrato of his voice. So, yeah, the tempo of the song means a whole lot in terms of how that vibrato actually works. It wouldn't work in like a really super fast tempo song because it would almost feel like weird and, like not quite in sync or something. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah. From number 5 from the album High and Mighty, Weep in Silence.
Ooh.
Really, really dig that song. Quite honestly, it's one of my alarms to wake up to in the morning and everything. Just love the kind of the way Mick and Ken were able to just kind of play off one another in that song. And one thing Ken Hensley, I don't think ever gets enough credit, not only for his Hammond work, also a hell of a guitar player, hell of a slide player as well. And I think that's one thing that Uriah Heep has always missed since he left the band was just that second guitar on some of these songs.
Yeah, specifically that slide work from Ken. It sounded so cool. Yeah.
Number 5. Number 4 from the album Look at Yourself, What Should Be Done. Song that completely feels completely out of place off that whole record, but it just works as kind of that come down from the song prior to it and then go into Love Machine to close it out. Just gives it kind of that little change in it. Song number 3. Oh, Scott, you should like this one. Circle of Hands.
There you go. My sister appreciates that one.
Yeah. Love that song. Has, in my opinion, one of the greatest lines ever written. Sacrifice, the future has its price, but today is only yesterday's tomorrow. Ken Hensley's words on a lot of this is really, to me, what spoke to Uriah Heep. Is the music was good, the vocals were good, but also the lyrical content behind the band kind of had that where even though some of it's fantasy and all this, it could still speak to everybody.
Yeah, no, you're right. There was a certain magic, and I'll throw Mick into that. There's certain magic about Ken, Dave, and Mick together. The three of those guys just, was David the greatest singer of all time?
No.
probably not. Was Mick the greatest guitar player of all time? He'll be the first one to tell you he's not. But it was Ken the greatest Hammond player of all time. He was really good, but it was that magic between the three that happened when they got together. So yeah, totally understand that.
And as it happens too, right? I mean, sometimes you can take a group of musicians who are not necessarily the best at what they do, put them together, and they make something totally amazing out of the chemistry, right?
Right. So, when people ask, is Uriah Heep prog or not, it doesn't matter. It's music, man. It sounds good. I like it. Hey, it's got a Hammond organ in there. It's close enough. It's prog.
Yeah.
I decree it's prog.
Well, if you think about it, I'd almost say that Look at Yourself is probably as close for that period as a progressive metal album as you could find.
At the time, yeah.
Number 2 from the album Sweet Freedom, Stealin'. Love that song, that killer.
Something smells fishy in here, Scott.
It's a snake, man.
Snake.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, I only saw the tip.
Get the snakes, Jethro.
My buddy Jim sent me some snakes.
Now I see it. Now I get it. Now it makes sense.
But yet that driving bass line from Gary Thane and Steelin to Ken Hensley's just keyboard work throughout that whole band. Just phenomenal.
That song works so well because if you had to describe what does Uriah Heep sound like?
Yep.
That's right there. Yep, that's it. That's what they sound like.
That's one of their best live songs. That always gets the audience into it.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
And number 1 for me, July Morning.
Cool.
Just absolutely killer Hammond work. You have Mick coming in there afterwards just with this soaring guitar. And I remember the first time I heard it and hearing David Byron singing this, and I'm like, what did I just listen to? I got to keep listening to this over and over and over and over again. And it's just a killer track. Like, this is a band that I find, depending what you like in music, you can pretty much find something for everybody in this band. That's one thing I love about a lot of these older bands is they didn't stick to just one style. They'd find a style that they liked, but they would venture off in it. They would always try and find different ways to incorporate it. But,
where you go? Where are you going? You keep disappearing on us.
Book keeps falling down. But anyway, a couple honorable mentions. Rain from Magician's Birthday, Rainbow Demon, the title track Magician's Birthday, Salisbury, Lady in Black, and Grace by Heaven.
Who lives by the Indy 500? Oh.
I don't actually. I live out in the woods, but there was someone driving like 90 miles an hour down my road just now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Gotta love it.
Good list, Wayne. A couple of oddball choices in there, which I expected no less from you. But a solid list nonetheless. So what are we doing, Cody and Tara? Do we have 2 lists?
We got 2 lists.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's bust out the list, the Canadian lists. Continue.
All right. I gotta go first. So I saved it all on my phone here.
Yeah, these millennials are, Pete. I got everything saved in my phone.
Well, you're going to see that I'm a sucker for 10-minute songs, as I've got 2 of them in here. One of them that I kind of can't believe hasn't been mentioned yet. But we're going to start off number 10, July Morning. Fantastic song. That's a great album. And I just love the whole vibe of that song. And I love that you can kind of pick apart the influences of the band at the time. You can kind of hear some Queen. You can kind of hear some Deep Purple. You can kind of hear some Sabbath. But they kind of put it all together as one grandiose package. And you can really hear that in tunes like July Morning. The next up is Rainbow Demon from the Demons and Wizards record. Fantastic. Just a killer tune. I mean, come on, so good. Lady in Black, probably one of the more well-known tunes, but it's a really good one, and I like it a lot. We're going to go to one of the newest ones from the Living the Dream record. This is actually, I think Pete mentioned this one, Grazed by Heaven. Fantastic tune, super heavy, and it's up tempo, and I really like the whole the chugginess and the vibe of it.
That was on Martin's list too.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Martin had it too. So both Pete and Martin, almost like they were in cahoots together or something.
And next up, this one I have a prop for. We're going back to the first one. Gypsy. Just a fantastic track. Again, Pete kind of covered it, but I absolutely love the Hammond organ, and the riffing in that is fantastic. Lots of cool little time changes and such throughout the song as well. Being a drummer, that really sort of catches my eye. Or my ear, I should say. Get up there. All right. Then from the new one, Chaos and Color, You'll Never Be Alone. I think the lyrics are really cool in that. And again, it's like a nice 7 to 8 minute sort of mini epic track, but it's really great. Bernie Shaw's a fantastic singer. Yeah, and I love the vocals in this, and just the whole band sounds awesome on this whole record too. I remember when it came out. I'm a DJ over on 2 stations, on Prog Radio actually, and Deep Nuggets Radio. And when this came out, they were featuring it a lot over on Deep Nuggets Radio, and I was like, I gotta hear this. And so I listened to the record. It's like, wow, it's like Uriah Heep in Kansas and Styx. This late in their career, putting out these amazing records. Yeah. Then there's other bands that could learn from that. But anyway, Uriah Heep, You'll Never Be Alone from Chaos and Color. Fantastic album.
Fantastic. And Russell Gilbert's drumming on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Russ is great. Yeah.
The whole band really is awesome. Sure. I do have to give a shout out to Bernie Shaw, because he's just he sounds great, and he fits in really good with the band. Next up, big hit song for them, Easy Livin'. I love the song, and it has that sort of patented that groove that they kind of used quite a bit at the time. But it's such a great tune, Easy Livin'. Easy Living.
It's kind of that Love Machine groove.
Yeah.
I love that groove.
And as someone who loves prog and metal as much as I do, there's no way that I could not include The Magician's Birthday. The title track is so good. So good. And then that middle solo, the Mick Box guitar solo in the middle of that. Dude, come on. Fantastic.
But is Lee laying it down, man? It's not just Mick. It's Lee. I mean, just laying down this ridiculously simple drum beat that just I can still hear it in my head. 50 years later, it's still impacting me, my brain.
Man. And then Mick and Ken being able to also play off each other as well. Really gave that
fun. So fun.
Well, hey, of course, it needs a drummer to lay the foundation, right?
That's right.
Next up is The Wizard from Demons and Wizards. I think that is just a fantastic song. I think it's one of those, as soon as it comes in with that acoustic guitar, it's just like, you kind of get lost in the tune, right? It's just fantastic. And my number one is Stealin'. I love that groove, and I love that song so much. Stealin' when I should have been buying. Fantastic song. And we got to say something about David Byron. Is we kind of mentioned the vibrato, but that dude had range. Yeah, I mean, he could really get up there. I mean, back then they weren't doing anything like, I don't really think very speeding and anything like that was kind of what it had been known to become. Thanks to dudes like Todd Rundgren and things like that. So when he's hitting those high notes, that's legit. Oh, yeah. That's him. It's just coming right out of him. He was a fantastic singer, and underrated, actually, in my opinion. Underrated. The band is underrated, and that's my number one song, Stealin'. I just that groove and just that heavy sort of chonkiness to it.
Chonky.
It's chonky for sure. Yeah, I love it.
Good list. I just wonder if your better half is going to have a better list, though.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't feed it. Don't feed it.
Uh-oh.
All All right.
Understood.
Uh-oh. You got some splaining to do later, Cody.
Anyway, so yeah, look, you know, I have a very kind of childlike way of looking at music. I think that's why I love prog so much, because of that kind of fantasy aspect, and I love the lyricism and the excitement of it. And Uriah Heep just take all those boxes for me. So it was hard for me to do up a top 10 because I really enjoy so much of their music. Jeff, you rock too, my friend. And Pete, it's amazing to finally get to meet you
Yes.
after years of watching you. And can you please show us your t-shirts? Please, it looks so cool. Wow,
There we go.
that's unreal.
Oh, love it.
Wow.
We got Roger all the way around.
Yes, I need one of those actually.
That reminds me, I have the Foxtrot shirt, Genesis being my favorite
it
band,
looks like that.
and it wraps around like the gatefolds.
That one is cooler.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, obviously.
I've got probably like 6 or 7 of these. I got one from Steely Dan from the Royal Scam. I've got I got one for Sweet. I got one for Grateful Dead. Blues
Yeah.
Friday.
And that doesn't include all the fake band shirts that you're making in the garage right now.
Yeah, of course.
That's Pete's side business. He actually invents fake bands, ranks their albums on his YouTube channel, gets everybody hyped about it, and then he prints a bunch of t-shirts of said fake band, making money all the way along at every point. It's pure genius, Pete, I gotta say.
Quite the racket I have, yeah.
It is.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off with What Kind of God from Wake the Sleeper. I wasn't very familiar with it until I heard them doing it live. And the kind of power that was in that song really kind of struck a chord with me, and I was hooked. Number 9 is, it's so hard for me to rank these even because they're all so good. I'm going to say Traveler in Time from the Wizards. Just heavy hitting, really exciting tune.
And we love the wah wah pedal.
Yeah.
Absolutely, never get sick of it. Like, I mean, that album you can listen to the whole way through forever, no problem. Number 8 is Beautiful Dream from Return to Fantasy. The lyrics in that are just mad, like, you know, will take you floating through a sea of morning dew where everyone's the same and no one knows your name. I was like, oh wow. And David Byron's range in that is just like insane, especially near the end where he starts screaming it like such a beautiful dream. I was just like, oh my god.
I love that whole album, actually. That's my secret favorite Uriah Heep album.
Your guilty pleasure there, Scott.
There's something about Return to Fantasy. I guess that was the new one when I first discovered them, probably. So that was like the first like new Uriah Heep album that I had encountered, and so that it probably has that emotional connection for me. But yeah, that's a good choice, Tara.
Thank you. My next one is going to be Against the Odds from Logical Revelations. Again, when I saw them live, the first half of the show was like an acoustic set, and it was very kind of laid back. And then they came out in the second half and just bursted into this song. There was like a big curtain and it fell, and they just jumped out from behind it and started playing this. And I thought it was absolutely incredible, to be honest. And every time I listen to it now, that's all I can think of. So, yeah. My next one is going to be Salisbury. Really, really proggy and strange. You know, it goes through all these different changes. You don't know what's going to happen next. And I love when a song does that. Really awesome stuff.
One of the best uses of orchestra and
you're not expecting that at all, and when it comes on, you're like, oh my god, like, is there anything these guys can't do? My next one is Sunrise from Magician's Birthday. Oh my good god, just when you put on the album and that like builds up, and then David Byron just goes It's like, what is happening? Like, oh my God, that one just, every time I hear it, I get so excited.
I can vouch for
That should be the opener to every concert they do.
Absolutely, like it's just so good, incredible stuff. And my next one is Rainbow Demon, of course. Lovely little fantasy tune, great instrumentation behind it, great lyrics, just overall perfect. July Morning. Oh my God, what a song! Like, just the lyrics in it, that Hammond organ sound in it is perfect. And again, that one really showed me how Bernie Shaw is just on the ball as a singer with them, because that part where he's going la la, the anticipation in the audience when he was doing that, like, of, oh, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna hit it? Is he gonna hit it? Yeah, he's done it. And Mick Box goes over and fist pumps him, like, oh, it was just fantastic. Absolutely brilliant song though. Look at Yourself is just such a perfect album, so proggy. Absolutely love it. I don't know what number I'm at now, I've lost count, so
Yeah, whatever.
The Magician's Birthday, the title track. Again, that really kind of gives me a lot of nostalgia, because it reminds me of when I was a kid and I was a little tomboy. I used to dress up as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and run around the house. And I used to go red power, blue power. And for some reason, this song makes me think of that. And the Hammond organ sound reminds me of the bad guy from the Smurfs. Don't look. My brain is very strange, all right.
And this is why we like to have all different age groups as panelists on this show, Pete. I have no.
You're going what? Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea what she's talking about.
Do you ever know what I'm talking about? To be fair,
No, rarely.
But that battle between Mick and Kane is just so odd, so cool, and I love when Mick plays that note and he holds the note for about 2 minutes straight, like, you know, like, unreal. And I think I'm on my last one now. What I'm going to take as number one. Oh, I am going to say Shadows of Grief.
Ooh.
I like that dark, creepy sound the whole way through. It's just really, really good. And yeah, that has to be my top. So
Nice.
there's my list.
Fantastic. Well done as always, Tara. Knocked it out of the park right there. Not a whole lot of surprises there, but solid list nonetheless. But now, boys and girls, I have in my hot little hand the actual correct list. You know, you heard everybody else's list, including Martin Popoff's, whose list couldn't have been more wrong if it had tried. It's almost like a satire, like a parody kind of list almost.
So is this your new Facebook war there, Scott, now?
No.
Oh,
yeah, I'm looking for a new feud. Yeah, bring it on, Martin. Let's go. No, I love Martin. He's awesome. You know, I only really, you know, poke fun at or, you know, tease or mock those, you know, those that are above me, right? I mean, I would never go after the little guys. I only go after the ones that I know can handle it. Martin can handle it. He's a big boy. But as I was saying, the correct list goes something like this. At number 10, Return to Fantasy, the title track. I love it, man. What a mission statement after, you know, a couple albums that some of their fans weren't crazy about. They decided to go back to, you know, thematically what they were doing before. And I love the album. I think it's amazing. The title track is great, as good as anything they ever did. At number 9, we had a couple tracks. A couple people mentioned this brand new album from Uriah Heep, but nobody mentioned Hurricane. I don't know why, man. That song just is driving. It's fun. Yeah, they're probably not very proggy, but I don't care. It's just an amazing song. At number 8, it was mentioned a couple times. I'm going with Suicidal Man off of Wonderworld. Love that song. It's just amazing. At number 7, Tara had it right. Against the Odds. Originally off of that See a Light album. You know, anytime Roger Dean has artwork on a Uriah Heep album, it's probably going to be a good album. And I love that album. I thought it was amazing. and that was the song. Something about leadoff tracks in Uriah Heep. I don't know. At number 6, I got Stealin'. Not a leadoff track. That was Dreaming, I guess. But hey, Stealin's an amazing song. It was a big hit for him. I love it. Number 5, July Morning. Not only a great song, but like a cultural event, right? There's certain parts of the world where every July 1st at sunrise, hundreds of people show up on the shores of the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea and all over Eastern Europe. It's really weird, man, how Uriah Heep just rang the bell of those Eastern Europeans, Russia, Poland, the Ukraine. They adore this band like they're the Beatles or something. I love that. Amazing. So cool. July Morning. Yeah, what a track. Number 4, Gypsy. Martin Popoff said in his article for Goldmine that, here's a band that not only put out one of their better songs right out the gate, you could argue they put out their best song as the first song on their first album. If that's the case, that's really depressing for a band with 25 albums. I got it at number 4. Poppycock to that. At number 3, boy, do I go with Bird of Prey or do I go with Salisbury? I don't know, man. I'm going with Salisbury because this is the prog corner, and Salisbury is like 18 minutes long. So there you go. And it's great, too. It has nothing to do with the length of the song. Well, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I love long tracks. But also amazing. That doesn't hurt. At number 2, I don't think anyone mentioned this either on the panel or in the peanut gallery. Could be wrong, but I haven't heard of anybody. So you got I thought you guys were better than this, man. Nobody mentioned Blind Eye.
Oh
yeah.
What?
Good.
No, come on, man. Birthday. I love that song. To me, it just is like everything I love about Uriah Heep in one tight little package. And at number 1, my favorite Uriah Heep song, which means it's obviously the best Uriah Heep song. And I'm going to call it Paradise Dispelled because it is one song. They split it up as separate tracks, for publishing rights. And, I don't blame them for that. But you put it all together, it's like 12 minutes long. That's a nice little epic track. And it's amazing. I love it. So there's the top 10 Uriah Heep songs, according to me. And boy, oh boy, it sure was great having Pete Pardo on the panel today, wasn't it, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure to meet you, man.
Pleasure to meet you.
Here. Thanks for having me, guys.
So we're gonna have you back on, Pete.
We talked about that other Hammond organ band.
Yeah. Well, there's another band that I know you're fond of. So boys and girls, check back. We're going to give you an exact date later, but sometime in October, it'll be the return of Pete Pardo on the Prog Corner as we discuss some other hardened Hammond-driven band that you may or may not have heard of. Next week on the channel, though, boys and girls, exciting news. It's Mythologic time, man. We are going to be listening to, breaking down, reacting to. We got Scott Davis on the show. We're going to have Kevin from Prog Radio helping us out. We're going to do like a simulcast thing for the new Mythologic album. It's going to be outstanding. And then the following week, September 22nd, we've got Harry Whitley, the brand new lead singer from Asia, on the show as we discuss the top 10. Well, of course, we're going to be talking about Asia. That'd be ridiculous. Any other band but. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. Exciting times. The Prog Corner every Sunday at 11 a.m. I got to come up with like an ending thing, like the Pete Pardo thing, make it a little bit smoother. But anyway, Pete, what do you got going on over on Sea of Tranquility here this coming week? Anything exciting I need to know about?
Well, for all you Prog fans, we're doing part 2 of our album wars with Italian Prog.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
yeah,
coming up Tuesday night. So, for all you fans of Semiramis and La Conda della Fate and Arti Mistieri and Aria and Maxophone, those are the all 5 debuts are going at each other in a big album war. So, join us for that on Sea of Tranquility in the Prog Scene.
Part 1 was amazing. And I'm thinking, he could do this like 10 more times. The Italian Prog well is so incredibly deep. So I'm glad we're doing part 2 on it.
We already have the third lineup ready to go, but we're going to
Yeah.
give it a little break. We don't want to do them one after another. So
it's got legs because the Italian Prog scene just incredible, amazing. Hey, Wayne, what's going on over there on your myriad of YouTube channels you got going on? A whole network like, Time Warner or something like that. What's going on with you?
Oh, nothing. Just filming a bunch of reactions for the Puckful of Heap channel and doing deep dives on a bunch of albums where I said, you know what, heck with it. I'm just going to do all these reactions, full album reactions, put them on Patreon and see if anyone's interested in them.
There you go. Any you want to share with us any of those titles?
The first one I did is
Mysterioso or something here.
First one I did is Blues for Allah by the Grateful Dead.
Okay.
And second one I got is another band another artist that I've decided to finally start checking out, Neil Young and his album Reactor.
Okay. I like Reactor. That's a fun one. A little different.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Jeff Shilka wants me to show the S picks. So and they're going to do it like this, while Tara and Cody tell me everything that's going on in their life and in their YouTube endeavors, I'll do a little show and tell with Jeff Shilka and his birthday presents. So continue on while I fumble with these envelopes Jeff sent over.
Well, if you guys subscribe to Brockway's Vinyl Bites, I got some really, really cool stuff that I'm sitting on. We got some ideas that we're going to be working out and shooting some cool content very soon. And in about 2 weeks, I'm actually going to be interviewing Billy Sheehan of Mr. Big.
Woo!
And that's going to be up on the channel. So you got to subscribe for when that comes out. That'll be after Sunday, the 22nd.
Wow. Billy Sheehan, that's a big one right there.
I love him. David Lee Roth, Winery Dogs, Sons of Apollo, Mr. Big. I went to see Mr. Big in Toronto, and I actually got to shake his hand after the show and everything. It was really cool. Reached out to him, given an interview. They got 2 new records out, so we got a lot to talk about. They got that new album and that live album that's coming out. Great photos. My gosh.
All right. These all seem to be from the In the Round. So we're talking 1978. 1979.
Yeah,
yes.
It looks like Tormato era, right?
Yeah, Tormato era. The In the Round tour. These are awesome. So yeah, just keep talking. Tara, what do you got going on?
Not much. I mean, I'm just working with Cody now on ideas for his YouTube channel. I will probably revive my one at some stage, but for now, we're just going to focus on doing things together.
I like you guys together. It's all cute and whatnot.
I tend to agree.
Well, that's thanks to you, sir. So thank you very much.
That's right. It's all because of me.
Pete, do you know this? Do you know this story, Pete? She's from Ireland, and she had a channel called Spin in Prague, and we met because of Scott. Next thing you know, now she's moved in here. I'm in Canada, and
doesn't get better than that, right?
No, we literally bonded over Yes and Genesis. I mean,
see that? There you go. Music brings everybody together, right?
That's right. Absolutely
does, man. And we're both great on your channel too.
Awesome.
These are great, Jeff. These are awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, cool. And the final little taking a bow picture. There we go. They're all tired and sweaty. That was a good show, guys. I love that In the Round concert. That was just so amazing. That, Tormato wasn't my favorite album by any stretch of the imagination, but that tour was probably, yes, at their absolute peak. So seeing those pictures, very, very cool. Want to thank everybody for being on the show today, but just a real quick reminder that we got a couple real exciting things going on the channel, not least of which is I'm going to be announcing Nectar Week. You know a little something about Nectar, don't you, Pete Pardo?
Yep.
We're going to be ranking the Nectar albums. We're going to be ranking the new Nectar album, and we're going to be interviewing band leader Derek Moore. So that's going to be I did it with the Tangent a couple months ago where I had Tangent Week where all the content was based on one band. We're going to do it for Nectar because they deserve it. I haven't given them nearly enough attention on the channel. Kind of been sleeping on them a little bit, which is weird because I've loved them since I was 15 years old. So I don't really understand it. So we will be correcting that. And then October, back by popular demand, is going to be the son of Clickbait Week. Oh, Clickbait Week returns. I know you guys missed it. Watching me go all negative and bash bands that everybody loves, destroying sacred cows. That's what we do. But anyway, guys, this was a good one. Peace in the Middle East. God save the king. Save King Chucky. You know why, Pete Pardo? Because that boy's got the cancer. Oh, no, bring that boy to America. Bring him to America. Make him swim. Oh, he's got to swim. It'll do him some good. And then we'll do spells and incantations for King Chucky. Oh, yeah, we will. Because that boy's got to get better. But that's not going to work. Our prayer warriors have been working so hard, and we ain't seen no good results. So Jim Dicey, he sent me these snakes, and we're going to dance with them. Oh, dancing with them rattlesnakes. Oh, no. Pete Pardo, help me with these snakes. Oh, this one's real feisty. Oh,
God has officially lost his mind.
I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Peace.
Oh.
Oh, that was a good one, guys.